You know, Raleigh has some really amazing suburbs, but perhaps the most moved to suburb this year is Wake Forest. It's absolutely blowing up, and it might just be the best place to lay roots this year or next.
Yes, and we're going to give you a full drive and walk tour of Wake Forest, including top neighborhoods, new construction homes, and also the local favorite spots where people hang out here in Wake Forest.
So right now we are heading north on Capital Boulevard. This is the main interstate that's going to take you all the way from downtown Raleigh and all the way up past Wake Forest. So this is one of two main roads that you're going to want to become very familiar with when you're driving in and around Wake Forest. And it's also what keeps you the most easily connected to the rest of the triangle. We just rolled off of Capital onto our very first stop. This is Wakefield Plantation.
So this is one of the most popular neighborhoods here in Wake Forest. I mean, it's a very established community. Development started into 1990s, continued on the early 2000s. So, I mean, roots have been set.
Yeah, it's a very established neighborhood and very desirable too. And I think the price point definitely reflects that here. So, you know, if you want more of a condo or a townhome, you can find something like that here in the 300s and 400,000 range. But the single family range gets pretty pricey.
A little bit, but I mean, there's plenty to justify the price. The price currently is
about 600s,
7. I mean, we're driving right now. We're seeing a golf course next to the houses.
Yep.
So I mean,
we're passing some kind of mini mansions over here. A lot of these homes are going to be ranging from as low as 3,000 square feet up to 6,000 square feet. So they honestly kind of deserve the price that they're getting. And again, they're on the golf course. They have a bunch of amenities.
They do, and there's proximity to dining, entertainment. You got the high school, middle school as well, close by.
Right in the heart of Wakefield Plantation, you're going to find both Wakefield High School and Wakefield Middle School, right? And those are both highly rated schools. And by the way, we're going to be pointing out different schools as we go throughout this video that are all throughout Wake Forest, all Wake County schools, and we see a lot of families moving into the area specifically for Wake County schools because of how desirable they are, and Wake Forest is no exception. Now, if you were to look on the map, Wakefield Plantation is not just one neighborhood, right? It's super large, made up of different clusters of micro subdivisions, all within the umbrella of Wakefield Plantation. And so each neighborhood is going to offer its own, you know, pros and cons. They're going to have their own different kind of price ranges, different access to amenities, and of course, the major amenity, which is the golf course, that's going to be an optional membership that anyone can partake in. And this is definitely one of the most popular golf courses in the Triangle. And if you don't know, people love golfing in North Carolina.
And here in Wakefield, you also have quick access to dining and entertainment like Capital Plaza, where there's a Target and some other great places. And as well, there's this new development with a lot of shopping and dining, and we're going to show you guys that later.
I mean, just look at these houses. These are absolutely gorgeous houses. And as you can imagine, these neighborhoods get pretty competitive. We don't see people selling here very often, but we see a lot of families moving into the area.
I love the landscaping. Love the way they're maintained. Also, I saw a lot of houses with 3-car garages as well.
Yep. A lot of houses with 3-car garages. A lot of these have 3 stories, so they might have a full walkout basement if they're sitting on a lot. And you can tell it's pretty hilly here. I mean, if you look at this house up here on the right, which looks like it's straight out of Italy, it's on a pretty good slope there. And we've been going up and down hills, driving throughout these different neighborhoods here in Wakefield. It's also a very active neighborhood. You can see those ladies going for a walk, but because of all the nearby golf and pool, and there's even, you know, soccer clubs nearby, there's a lot to do outside here. And, you know, one thing that I'm most excited about when it comes to being over here on the west side of Wake Forest is you have ridiculously close access to Falls Lake and the Forest Ridge Park, which we are going to be checking out right after this. One thing I really love about Wakefield Plantation is they have some really good design when it comes to kind of the roundabouts, including nature. They left a lot of the trees, and it's a very established neighborhood, so it's going to be very forested. But they just do a really good job with their landscaping, and that's one thing that there's going to be HOA dues throughout Wakefield Plantation, unavoidable. But because of that, it's a very, very nice, pretty to look at, pretty to drive through neighborhood. I'm having a great time right now just going around this roundabout over and over again, but we should probably head to the next stop. You're gonna notice that when you start driving on the far west side of Wakefield, that a lot of it looks very rural. I mean, still very pretty, but one, because of the golf course, there's a lot of protected land out here. But then as soon as you get left of Wakefield, you're running up against Falls Lake, and so that's a lot of protected land. And the few land that can be bought there has, been bought up by farmers, and people who just like owning a lot of land.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're not going to see a lot of dense subdivisions, as you get closer to the lake.
I think that's what makes it pretty, right? It's not, Raleigh, it's amazing, but when you're inside Raleigh, there's like development and houses everywhere, so you don't appreciate nature that much.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, and we are here. So this is Forest Ridge Park. Speaking of nature, this is one of my favorite places to go to in the Triangle, and we're literally only 4 minutes from where we just were at the heart of Wakefield Plantation. So, you could bike here. You could definitely drive here. There's a lot that Forest Ridge Park has to offer. We're going to be getting out of the car here and checking it out for ourselves. All right, so we just rolled up. You got plenty of parking when you show up. It's obviously very wooded, very pretty here. Got a nice welcome center. And then wanted to take a second and show you guys kind of some of the events that they got going on here. We're about to check out all of this. But they've got some nature programs for kiddos. If you got families wanting to check out the place. They do sunset hikes, which I think are pretty cool and kind of romantic.
Yeah. And this one right here looks very interesting.
Glow disc golf.
Glow disc golf.
So if you guys don't know, they actually have one of the most popular disc golf courses here at Forest Ridge. So a lot of people come here for the disc golf. And then also on the other side here, they've got night hikes, they've got mountain biking, they've got, again, more stuff for kids. It's a very family-friendly place. So they've got a lot of activities here.
They do. It's all about activities, man.
It is. And they've got plenty of it. Wanted to show you guys the Welcome Center map here as well. Just so you understand, we are literally surrounded by Falls Lake, which is one of the largest natural lakes here in the Triangle. So we're very close to where the disc golf is. We've got all these mountain biking trails, walking trails, and just beautiful views all throughout. So I'm excited to show you guys what Forest Ridge is all about and why locals love it. Now, one thing about Raleigh and Wake Forest is, well, it's forested. Wake Forest is very green, one of the more green suburbs I'd say here in the Triangle. They do a really good job of just leaving as much trees as possible, preserving the nature. A lot of actual preserves sprinkled throughout Wake Forest that I love to go to. And you just have beautiful walks like this. Maybe you're on your lunch break, you can just pop real quick into Forest Ridge and go for a beautiful hike, bring your lunch with you. The fact that we get to go and explore this and show you guys watching the video for our job, very blessed. It is absolutely gorgeous here. Supposedly this one right here is going to be taking us to a nice view of the lake, so that's what we're going to do. I like that they have actual trails going deep into the forest. It's a totally different feel than, the wide open trails up there. It's very immersive. It's also like 60 degrees out right now, so it's just very, very peaceful, quiet Tuesday morning. All right, so we made it to the lake. It's one of the many access points where you can pretty much walk right down to the water. It's a beautiful hike back up in here.
Oh, this is pretty.
Hard to imagine we're only a few minutes from the heart of Wake Forest here. And look at this. Wow. It is so pretty out here. So pretty.
So we just did an amazing trail and we're right in front of the Falls Lake. It's a beautiful view. It was like a 2-minute trail. And honestly, there's so many things that you can do here. Inside, you can do camping. You can do so many activities. It will be very fun for you, for family. And in the lake, you can boat.
You can just start to see that the leaves on all these trees are starting to turn colors. So this is the first week of October. And by like the 3rd, 4th week of October, this is going to be a multicolor, just light show almost with all the leaves. We're already getting leaves falling everywhere. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're getting a lot of like reds, yellows, greens, purples, pretty much everything. It's absolutely beautiful here right now. All right, back on the road again. We are rolling into Capital Plaza. And I think, Ricardo, you mentioned this earlier. This is one of the more established shopping developments here in Wake Forest, and it's conveniently located right off of Capitol Boulevard.
One of the great things that I saw is a Chipotle. You know, I love Chipotle.
Yes, sir.
Get that guacamole, so you get that. You have eye care centers.
Chick-fil-A right on the right there. And we've got a Target, we've got a Starbucks, and a Home Depot, and very close nearby is also your Sam's Club and Olive Garden and all sorts of restaurants too.
PetSmart.
Yep, we got
Right here.
PetSmart for all your pet needs. So this is a really great spot that's just super convenient to Wake Forest. If you're going up Capitol, which is again one of those main 2 roads here in the triangle, then chances are you're probably stopping here at Capital Plaza, hitting up the Panera Bread, or grabbing a bite to eat.
And what I like is that it's not all clustered.
No.
I mean, it's still together, close, but great separation between every type of business.
Yeah, no matter where you go, it doesn't feel like you're in this huge development, right? Everything's so carefully hidden by the trees. It's very carefully planned. And that's what I love about it, is you actually do have everything that you need, your day-to-day stuff, but you don't feel like you're just living in a concrete jungle, which is exactly how I felt when I used to live back in Dallas. And I know that's a complaint a lot of people coming from New York or California would have as well. It's just a very different vibe here.
Yeah, I can tell.
We've also got a Good Berries, which is some really good frozen custard, and you'll see those kind of sprinkled throughout the triangle. But yeah, really all the restaurants and dining that you'd want are kind of conveniently located here. They've even got Faro Subs, they've got a Krispy Kreme, which is super goated.
Oh, that's very convenient. It goes over in Raleigh. You have to go downtown Raleigh?
Yep,
if you're living North Raleigh?
That's right. Now right here, on the right of the kind of the screen here, you're going to see what is 98. This is going to take you all the way across Falls Lake, all the way over into Durham. So this is the most convenient way to get across the entire triangle without taking on 540 traffic. But we're actually going to turn left here instead. We're going to cross the highway over Capitol here, and we're going to find ourselves at one of the newest shopping developments that have recently sprung up in Wake Forest. And I think you hinted at this earlier.
I did. So we're driving into Grove 98, and as I hinted earlier, this is a new development of shopping and dining. I can see a Wegmans from over here, and I know Ben likes Wegmans.
It's a very nice store. It's massive inside, and they've got cafes and sushi bars and all sorts of fun stuff. Over on the left, we're seeing Torchy's Tacos and Cava and all sorts of restaurants. It's not just shopping and dining. We also have some really nice new developments happening here in terms of townhomes. So they've been building up here with Stanley Martin these 4-story townhomes, and then they have a 5th story with a literal balcony on top.
Yeah.
So these are high-end, literally high-end luxury townhomes that they're building here.
Yeah, they're very different from your regular townhome. It gives that a sort of elegant style, more upscale townhome.
Yep. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to obviously increase density here in Wake Forest, and so they're building all the amenities really close together here, making it very nice, and then trying to get as many people to move into the area as possible so they can keep developing. So you could be literally living in one of those townhomes or apartments, across the street, go hit up Dave's Hot Chicken, which is always a good time. Or you could stop here at O2 Fitness, and so they've got a really nice gym. Kind of looks more like a warehouse. It's 2 stories tall, and you're gonna have all sorts of things to do here in this kind of shopping hub.
Mm-hmm. Great thing is, you have a gym right across the Five Guys.
There you go. So you can go eat a couple pounds, and then you can go lose a couple pounds. So really works out well that way. They've got a really good variety, and obviously you can see right there are new businesses actively being built coming into this shopping center. So they are not even remotely close to done with developing this. And as people continue to move into the area, you're going to see more and more of these businesses popping up as Grove 98 becomes more and more popular. All right, so we are rolling up to the next development here. This is one of the most popular neighborhoods in Wake Forest. We're going to be hitting all the most popular ones, so you guys aren't going to be missing out on anything in this video. So what's interesting about Holding Village is you've got, a gas station right when you roll in, which at first thought is kind of weird, right? But it is also very convenient. So
especially with the car wash as well.
Yeah, so you're rolling out of the neighborhood, you're low on gas, you got to get to work. It's really easy to fill up. There's also an academy right there, which is obviously, more your preschool. It's going to be, convenient for families with young kids. But I think that's what they're trying to do here, right? Is they're trying to make it just as convenient as possible to live here and to get all your daily necessities met here. And we're literally just down the road from where we came from at Grove 98.
Yeah.
So if you want to do extra grocery shopping, go out for a nice meal, that's literally just down the road. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to check out some of the real estate that they have here. And they've got a great variety. So they've got some really nice new condos and apartments that you can rent, right? But then they've also got some kind of bungalow style cottages here that are for sale. Again, all built within the last few years. And these are going to be starting in the 4s, right? And if you want more of your detached single family with a little bit larger lot and 2-car garage, then we got these on the left side, and those are going to be in the 5s and 6s. Now what's interesting about these kind of cottage style houses is that, as you can see, they've got alleyway access with detached 2-car garages. Okay. Now they've got some storage on the top and whatnot, but the one downside I would say is that you have to park in your garage from the back of your house, right? And then you have to actually walk outside briefly and go through your back door.
Especially on a rainy day.
Yep, that would be annoying.
That would be annoying.
You'd want some sort of like covering, awning, walkway, which most of these aren't going to have. So that's one way they're able to get higher density, as they're building out Wake Forest. And
I mean, you still get a garage.
You do still get a garage. And that's the thing, is they're building houses without garages nowadays, as they're trying to fit more people into desirable areas. And so just depending on what your price point is and what your tastes are, there is something here for you. Yeah,
I've been noticing a lot that the porches, on the townhomes, on the single family, they have something very special and unique. It's not like a regular, just a slab and you put 2 chairs on it. So that's pretty.
Yeah, they've got like really large slabs on the front here. So it is very much the vibe and style where everyone's kind of friends, family, okay. They're connected, they're hanging out on their front porch, enjoying a cup of coffee and interacting with their neighbors. And so, one thing that's interesting about that is, a normal neighborhood, you probably don't ever talk to your neighbors. You're hanging out in your backyard. You have that extra privacy, but you also lose a little bit of connection.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the vibe that I always get from Wake Forest, is that it's very family, very community, and we've seen that. I mean, the convenience of having everything around you, so that I mean, even if you go to the grocery store to put gas on your car, you're gonna find people that so you're gonna keep it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I've actually got friends who live in this neighborhood, and they absolutely love it. They do feel that it has that strong sense of community. And, something else that's very interesting about Holding Village is right here in the center. We're going to show you guys. So right here at the center of Holding Village, I think one of the most obvious, kind of unique parts to this community is the way that it all kind of centers on these 3 silos. You can only see one of them right now.
So it is like the main hub?
This is like the main hub, that's right. So you actually, all these houses, while they do have a lot of stairs, everyone's hanging out on their front porches, right? They're overlooking kind of this main hub that is central to the community. And you've got this very distinct, unique view that's also going to bring everyone together.
For sure. And I can see a fire pit from afar. Right. That's pretty nice.
So pretty much any night that you're out here, you're going to see people out here parking their bike at the rack, you know, walking around, taking the dog for a walk. You're going to see people out here throwing their frisbee. And then you're also going to see people hanging out at the fireplace, you know, maybe enjoying a picnic and kind of soaking in the views and the good weather. It's very nice. And all this is, of course, put on by the HOA. You supply your own firewood, but people are out here having s'mores and having drinks and having a good time.
And I do like that they are currently you got 8 shares.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much developed. Yeah. It might be you and your family, or it might be you and your neighbors.
Yeah.
This is the kind of place where you move in, you stay for a while, and you make friends.
Yeah.
And again, you got your townhomes, you got your single family homes, you got your large homes, you've got your apartment homes over here, and everything kind of comes together in this one place right here. Yeah, I actually really like the look of the apartments that they're putting into, and their rents are they're not horrible. They're renting them for around $1,500-$1,600 a month. So I mean, your rent money definitely goes a long way, you know, over here as well, which is nice. And they're still building. You know, they're starting to run out of room, but they're building as much as they can. I mean, you see all these brand new townhomes over here as well. So I mean,
this looked more like the regular townhomes.
So this is one thing that you're definitely going to have to deal with if you move to Wake Forest, transparently, and that is all the road construction, right? So we're stopped in line right now, and they're slowly letting people through because they're working on the roads. And you know, one thing that happens when a lot of people move to a place and say it's a great place to live and they start building a bunch of houses is the infrastructure can't keep up. And so this is exactly what you're going to be dealing with for the next 5-10 years as they improve the roads, as they add overpasses, you know, not to mention construction from all the actual building that they're doing.
Yeah, definitely an inconvenience, especially going to work, going to drop off your kids. But I mean, that's something that you need to keep in mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we are turning out of Holding Village, and immediately upon leaving, there's already other shops and micro malls and all that sort of stuff just off the main road. We're also passing a lot of daycares, Spanish daycares, dentistry. So there's a lot of medical stuff kind of right out here off of the neighborhood.
Yeah, I think on your everyday things, you don't have to leave Wake Forest. I mean, if you work remotely, if your kids are locally going to school here, I mean, I don't think there's a reason for you to need to go to Raleigh or yeah.
I agree. I mean, you've got literally everything. You can hit your coffee run. We just passed Wake Forest Middle School, so that's also, you know, one of the better public schools out here. But we're going to actually turn into a very popular family favorite as far as things to do here in Wake Forest, and that is called The Factory. All right, so we are here at The Factory, and again, they've got a lot of cool things here. Two Roosters ice cream, which is, I think, one of the better ice cream shops. They've got a lot of them throughout Raleigh. Over there is Ganza. This is great for Mexican cuisine. Yeah. So I know Ricardo's definitely a regular.
I like them, and they have a little bit of Colombian cuisine as well.
Okay, do they?
All right, sure, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's really cool. I think the main thing that you see when you're driving off the road is right over here. So when you're driving off of what is Main Street behind us, which, by the way, this is the main road that's going to take us back into downtown Wake Forest, you see kind of this fountain here. every time I'm driving by, there's always a bunch of people hanging out. Some people actually get and play in the pond. I don't know if that's actually allowed or not, but
Ben.
that's what I do on a Friday night. But it's a nice development, right? It's kind of like its own little mini mall. So we actually have the main entrance in here. You're noticing Game Theory, which is going to have a bunch of like books and comics and, you know, board games, that kind of stuff. But we can actually peek our head inside the factory and kind of see what's going on. Keeping in mind it's a Tuesday morning, so it's not going to be the lively scene that it normally would be. It's completely dead in here right now, but I promise on the weekends and on nights, this place is absolutely packed. But yeah, they've got all sorts of games and comics in there. They've got an entire collective just for like clothes for babies and toddlers and stuff. Red Brick Trading Company. It's all about buying and selling logos. Logos? I meant Legos.
Legos.
It's kind of like a maze in here, and when there's no one here, it feels kind of like I'm not supposed to be here. But they've literally got everything. So yeah, what you're seeing is the ice skating rink, and so they do, you know, active sports. They do open skating as well. I've always wanted to come here and try it. I haven't actually done it myself, but you can actually see that someone's in there right now practicing figure skating. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's actually a massive rink. There's probably only a handful of people in there right now, but we can probably get a better view of it from upstairs, which is also where the golf lounge is too. So, I mean, they really do have a lot of cool stuff here. And the only reason we're not taking you guys when it's more packed is because you can actually hear me speak, because this place gets super, super crowded. So they've got a 21 and up kind of like bar lounge where you can watch people do skating, you can watch hockey, you can get a drink and use the golf simulator in there. He's actually hitting golf balls back there and it smells like popcorn. This is so nice. I just want to get a better view of the ice skating rink. You would not suspect that this is here. If you were just driving off of Main Street and you saw the factory, you wouldn't think too much of it. And then you get inside and realize this place is actually really, really cool. And I mean, look at the vibe here. They've got foosball, they've got the golf simulators, 3 of them. They've got a fully operational bar, they've got popcorn, and plenty of lounge chairs too. It's a really cool scene. And if you're looking for a night out with friends, this is the place that you should take them in Wake Forest. All right, we have about a 5-minute drive ahead of ourselves. We are heading to East Wake Forest. And so what we are going to notice as we head east is that a lot of the core development of Wake Forest is going to start to disappear. It's going to get a little bit more rural, a little bit more wooded. And that's because there's more land over here on the east side of Wake Forest.
Yeah. And what happens when there's land?
They're gonna build.
They're gonna build.
So we are heading towards what I like to call the new construction corridor of Wake Forest, and it could be drawn on a map. If you were to pull up new construction on Zillow, you would see it on that east side of Wake Forest, kind of running straight down is where all the builders and developers are focused right now.
And you're gonna love this new constructions that we're about to show you. I mean, prices are very affordable.
Yep.
Builders are throwing in great incentives, which include rate buy-downs and crazy rate buy-downs, and as well as closing costs and appliances. So, I mean, there's still a lot that you can get here in Wake Forest to make that first home, future investment be as great as possible.
Yep. And we're really only about 5 minutes from the heart of Wake Forest. Everything we've shown you in today's video have, been minutes apart. So it's not like we're driving crazy all over the place. Wake Forest is the second largest suburb in the Triangle, and yet everything feels very, very connected so that whatever you're trying to get to is usually only a few minutes away. And at least for now, the traffic is not that bad.
Yeah, and we're on a weekday.
So we're rolling up onto 2 new construction neighborhoods. We're gonna start by veering off right here into a community by KB Homes. So I've sold a couple in this neighborhood. This is the Preserve at Jones Dairy. Like it sounds like, this was a farmer who sold off a bunch of their land to the developer, and then they built several hundred homes in here. And as you can tell, they are still wrapping up some of the development here. They're at the very end, There are some that are remaining that have some good deals on them,
Mm-hmm.
but they're building large 3,000 square foot detached single family homes with 2-car garages. Some of these have crawl spaces, some have slabs, but they've all got a decent amount of space, decent amount of yard too. You can actually see where the original owner still lives and has a bit of their property right there. So that's one thing that you kind of have to be aware of when you're, buying into some of these communities, is you are buying next to farmland, and eventually I think all of that is going to get developed, right?
Yeah, eventually.
It's going to happen. Yeah. But on this east side of Wake Forest, it is going to be mixed. You are going to see some mobile parks. You are going to see some farmland, and then you're going to see some really nice communities like this one.
For sure. And one more great thing would be that we're noticing plenty of ranch homes. I mean, ranch homes, great for elderly people, great for people with disabilities, or even if you don't want to be going up and down.
Yep.
Honestly, at my age,
your ripe age of 34. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people's preference would be to have the ranch floor plan, and I think builders are starting to catch on to that. And especially in Wake Forest, where, you are seeing the strongest mix, I think, of like retirees, but also young people, families. It's very, very mixed, right? But you're starting to see more and more of these ranch floor plans being built. It used to be very, very difficult to find, and I think now it's becoming a lot more mainstream.
Yeah, especially getting ranch homes with the incentives being new construction. I mean, ranch homes do have a little bit of pricier than the other ones, but still, you can get them at a great rate.
We're going to quickly check out some of the amenities that they have here. And I will say that in general, the newer communities they're building in Wake Forest and in the Triangle in general don't have the best amenities like we just saw. Now, the price range is a lot better and you're dealing with a newer house. But really all you're going to get at most of these communities, if you're lucky, is going to be a pool and a clubhouse.
Like we said earlier.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said earlier. So here they give you a very modest pool, a little clubhouse, and then there's going to be some walking trails throughout the neighborhood. And that's really about all you're going to get. Some other suburbs, and of course, if you go into higher price range, you will get, pickleball and all that kind of fun stuff. But it's becoming less and less common in these newer communities as they're trying to cut costs.
Yeah. So now we're going right across to Presley by D.R. Horton. They're still building, and so Ben sold over here and I sell over here.
Yep.
And I mean, talking about incentives, my experience with them was amazing. When I came here last year, this was under construction.
Yep, this was literally just all dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like all sold.
I know, I was out here filming across for my clients at KB Home, and it was just nothing but dirt out here. I think they had this one strip ahead of us built out, and they were still working on it. And within 6 months, this community has just completely skyrocketed. There's housing everywhere. So we're kind of driving through the townhomes right now, but they've definitely got some nice single family here too. So over on this side of the community, they're building all their single family. They're very similar, I would say, to what we just saw across the street. Obviously a little bit different, visually speaking. They're gonna have different floor plans to offer. The main thing is that here there's a lot more homes that are still for sale and a lot more being built. So, they've still got multiple phases that are well on their way. So even if you're maybe a year or two out from even being able to make a move here, but you like the idea of buying new construction in Wake Forest, this community might still be here with some options for you by the time, that lines up.
And what I notice is that, I mean, they are obviously doing marketing, and like D.R. Horton has this red tag whenever there's like a holiday coming up or something like that, and they give out this rates or this incentives. But I mean, it's always a good time to look around once you are close to holiday season.
Yep. So you got to time it right. Depends on the time of year. And all these builders are good about throwing out incentives and different deals and stuff. And so the main thing is you got to, work with somebody who has the inside scoop on that kind of stuff, which is definitely something that we offer. Yeah, literally all of this land out here is going to be future houses. So they've still got a lot of work left to do here at the preserve. And it's going to be absolutely crazy when it's all done. Well, that about wraps up our tour of this community. There's a lot of new construction communities like in the area, and if you want to learn more about the different communities, what maybe makes one better over the other, then just call or text the number at the bottom of the screen, or just click that link in the description, set up a time to chat with our team. We'd love to connect with you.
Now the good news is, because there's a lot of land and they're building a lot of new construction, Wake Forest is growing. But if you are the type of person who wants a lot of land, you do want space, you don't love the cookie cutter style that they're putting in a lot of these newer houses, as you guys can see, the same place that they're building all this new construction, there is still a ton of land. So if you want to buy a house that's already on an acreage or more, then Wake Forest is a great area to do that. Whereas in Raleigh, we've talked about, that's almost impossible to find, and you're well over $1 million if you are lucky enough to find, say, half an acre.
And as we're driving north here in Wake Forest, one of the next cities or suburbs that we can find would be Youngsville. So Youngsville is one of those places where it's very up and coming, it's early stages, where you can find single family home with over an acreage of land
for sure
at a very cheap price, or even
under 400,000.
Even new construction.
Yep. So that is a big appeal. If you live on the north side of Wake Forest, you know, or you're on the south side of Youngsville, you're still very close to the rest of the triangle. And a lot of people who live in Youngsville are going to be coming into Wake Forest for school, for work, for shopping, dining, all that kind of stuff.
So we're rolling into our next destination, but right now that we're on the east side of Wake Forest, I did want to mention one very unique and popular place here, and it's a Fantasy Lake Adventure Water Park. So this water park is over 100 acres.
Wow.
And I mean, there's a large quarry pond where it features kayaking, paddleboard. You can throw yourself from a cliff.
Cliff jumping. You can throw yourself from a cliff.
Plus floating inflatable water park. And one of the great things is that they offer like a salt water, a fresh water that you can go and just relax and have your time for yourself and your family.
They've obviously got food, you know, drink. They've got pickleball, tennis, sandy beaches, cabanas that you can rent. I mean, this is the ultimate kind of day trip, in my opinion.
It's alcohol free.
Yep.
There's no alcohol. And you got to purchase your tickets online.
It's a very family-friendly place, and I don't think cliff jumping and alcohol maybe go the best together.
Yeah.
But I will say it looks really, really cool. They just built it within the last year, and especially if you're already on the east side of Wake Forest, you should check it out.
Can you imagine 100 acres?
That's large. It's a very large reservoir, and we're going to throw some video up to kind of show you guys what that would look like, and maybe we'll go do a full tour of that sometime if we get enough comments down below. But it's really, really cool, and you should definitely check it out when you're in Wake Forest. Okay, so we are heading back in the same direction that we just came from, through the construction, just a few minutes down the road, and we are going to find ourselves in Gateway Commons. So this is yet again another established shopping development. So it's going to have, you know, grocery store, it'll have your coffee, it's got a daycare, it's got a doggy daycare, you know, for my pet lovers, right? And they've got a lot of nice, you know, older style townhomes and apartments here as well. So, you know, not your new construction by any means. Okay, so we are crossing the street from Gateway Commons, and we are in yet another top neighborhood here in Wake Forest. I told you guys that we're going to see all of them. So this is Traditions, right? So these are your higher end, you know, luxury kind of mini mansions here off of the Wake Forest Reservoir, which is absolutely beautiful. And so a lot of these homes are backing up against, you know, natural water, and they're able to go in and go kayaking, you know, enjoy the views. There's some really, really nice houses and nice trails in this neighborhood.
So we're seeing some townhomes over here as well, and this ones would be like in the 4 and 5s, and they're just right across from the pool, from the clubhouse. And still, I mean, we have the entrance right here. It's a couple of streets, probably 4 or 5 streets of townhomes, so still within the same community.
And when we turn out here, I mean, they're still building some of these townhomes. They're putting some of these constructions into the Parade of Homes. We're about to release a video probably next week on the parade of homes, and it's when we show off the top new construction in the triangle. And so some of what they're building here is actually going to make it into the 100 to 150 homes that are going to be a part of the parade of homes, which is definitely something to be proud of. They've also got some pretty nice apartments if you're looking more for a rental for right now. There's a lot of new options here. And then right in front of us is the Envision Science Academy. And that is one of the top private schools in the Triangle, especially for STEM. They've got just really great program, really great rankings. It's not exactly cheap in terms of tuition. I know there's some grants and stuff out there, but a lot of the families who live back in Traditions are sending their kids to the Envision Science Academy as well.
So we're just driving down this beautiful road. You have nature on every side, and this is back to the reservoir that we showed previously. So I mean, Wake Forest, you have new construction that we've shown. We showed you great communities, and all of this is surrounded by nature everywhere. All right, so now we're looping around the Wake Forest reservoir, and it's more rural, but more rural means more nature.
Yeah.
Like we're driving down this road, and I mean, the view is amazing.
It's so green.
It's
and very
beautiful.
hilly too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that gives you the sense that you can space out a little bit from your work, from that everyday once you get in a car and drive home or drive. Yeah, that gives you that sense of, let me open my windows and just relax.
That's right, and you can actually kind of park your car off the side of the road on several of these spots and just get out and take some of the trails that would lead you to the reservoir. So again, nature is a really big deal to us in the Triangle, and especially in Wake Forest. All right, so we just got out at Flaherty Park. This is one of the top 2 parks, I'd say, here in Wake Forest. We've got some really nice trails back in here too. Little doggy station.
So I feel like this is a nice spot to do a paddleboard.
Or paddleboarding. You might even be able to go fishing here. I'm not sure about that one. But it's very pretty.
Yeah. It's got a piece of water.
Very pretty. And very quiet out here too. So if you take this kind of nice trail through the trees here, you end up at the other part of Flaherty Park, and this is going to be jam-packed with people on nights and weekends. That in there is a whole dog park, and it stretches on for forever, so it's really a massive space. People are always bringing their dogs and throwing a frisbee, and then you can kind of see they're even doing some construction over here, so they're still expanding the park. Which is a good sign that Wake Forest is growing and they're needing more and more space. This is already a massive park.
It is a massive park and plenty of parking lot. So that's always useful, especially on game nights, game days.
Well, yeah, because they've got one field over there, they've got a field over here, and they've got a field over there. So they've got three
fields.
Baseball fields that I've seen. On top of having bathrooms, welcome center, pond, playground. There's something really cool right over there that we're going to go check out that I haven't really seen at any other park, and I'm kind of excited to show you, Ricardo. This is pretty freaking cool. So they've got like different zones, right? So, and actually, if you come here, there's a little board that kind of shows you what is what. So the first zone, which I believe is this right here, that's your core zone, right? It's for your abs. They've got one for squats, one for pushing, one for lunging, pulling, agility, and bend. So they've got 7 different tracks here. And I won't even pretend to know how they work, but it's all to, I don't know, get you a full body workout at the end of the day, right? And they've literally got everything from pull-ups to dips. As you can tell, I am not doing pull-ups or dips on a regular basis, so I'm not gonna, display one for you. But they've actually got literally everything you need for a full workout here, on top of all the other cool things around here. So this is actually really, really cool. It's no wonder why people love it. And over here, close to the entrance, you've got, I believe, 6 tennis courts, which is already probably a fair amount. I mean, that's a good amount of tennis courts. But what's really cool about Flaherty Park is they also have, I believe, 3 or 4 pickleball courts right over here. But every time I try to come here and play pickleball and it's the weekend, oh my goodness, I will find like 50 people there doing tournaments, and I don't even want them to see how bad of a pickleball player I am, so I turn right around and I go back home. But this is a really cool park. We've got a strong mix here of kind of historic, but also some really nice brand new townhomes that they're building. These are very, very nice.
They're still building some,
Yep.
so.
And they have balconies on the top and everything. But as we're kind of driving around downtown, you're gonna notice that most of it is like taking a step into the past. Now, I don't mean anything negative about downtown Wake Forest because it's actually very nice, but it is old. It has,
It is
I
old.
think the word is quaint is that most
Yeah.
people would use.
A nice old.
Yeah, a nice old, that's right. And again, there's gonna be, mixes, like where they mix in some newer stuff for sure. That's definitely happening, and we'll see more of that. But like, you have some really older stuff like Doc's Garage. Like, that's cute, and it's old, right?
And probably that's Doc outside.
That's probably Doc outside, and that's been there for a while. And you have some other really kind of cool stuff. For example, this building on the left here, this is the Nurse Brewing Company, and it's a Viking-themed bar. So, I would say Knightdale doesn't have the best nightlife, and that's something I've talked about in a pros and cons video that we just put out last Friday, if you guys want to check that out. But they don't have that great of a nightlife. But I will say that, some things like the Noose, Brewing Company, I think that's pretty cool, and I could see people enjoying that for a night out.
All right, so we're driving downtown Wake Forest, checking out what's out there, seeing any historic places here in Wake Forest, and shortly we're gonna put boots on the ground and we will walk through the downtown. So we're seeing a lot of establishments, dining, we got small shops, sort of like this boutique style, got an artist loft, coffee house.
Well, don't spoil too much, because in just a moment here, we're going to be getting out of our car and actually giving you guys a walking tour of downtown Wake Forest. But first, we're going to go check out some of the historic parts of Wake Forest that make it have such that quaint vibe. There's some really, really cute houses in here, some of which are 100+ years old. And of course, they're being protected by Wake Forest because they made this a historic district. But people who own these houses, they take good care of them. They take great pride in them. And it's always a fun time kind of driving through this historic side of Wake Forest and seeing all the culture, all the character, and the history behind, Wake Forest. And obviously it's changed a lot over 100 years, but it's nice to see that some things haven't changed.
Yeah, you still see that some have a couple renovations, but still, it remains the essence, the way it was built. I mean, nothing has changed. But look at this one. Look at the peaks on that.
Wow. I think this would be a really cool place to go trick-or-treating on Halloween.
Sure.
We're getting into October here, and some of these houses, they are decorated like the perfect haunted house, and I'm absolutely loving it. Here, we're at the very center of Wake Forest, and what you're seeing right now is the Wake Forest Baptist College that's been here for a long, long time. It's got a very long, deep history. And fun fact, Wake Forest actually used to be home to Wake Forest University. For one reason or another, they moved over into Greensboro, which is about a 2.5 hour drive west of the Triangle. And we've got plenty of other universities throughout the Triangle. So if you're living in Wake Forest and you still want to go to university, or you got, college-age kids, there's still some really great options here, like Duke University, NC State, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. But yeah, a lot of people who live in Wake Forest do go to this Baptist college. All right, so we are here at the far corner of Main Street, downtown Wake Forest. I'm gonna show you guys everything that they have, starting with that fitness center over there. The new townhomes that we saw were just over there. We've got a CVS and a new bar coming in at the corner. What do we got, Ricardo?
And that's a very cute bridge right there.
Yeah, that's leading to the Baptist Seminary that we just drove around. They've got all sorts of, local businesses here. And I think that's what people really like is a lot of these businesses have been here for a while. They're in historic, buildings, obviously, but also they're not, they're locally owned, which is cool.
So right off the entering the downtown, there's a slope, so it makes you put your legs to work a little bit.
Yeah.
Got a story cafe. It looks very cute. Tables outside, and
they're already decorating for Halloween. You can kind of see inside there they've got all sorts of goodies. They've got a burger shop here as well. It's a full course
so it's a cafe,
breakfast diner. So they've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner in there.
They got a deck
So nice.
outside. They also have sort of like a basement, but based on the elevation.
I think that's more for storage
Yeah.
employees, but it's kind of cool that they have basements
Kinda
here.
cool.
I like that.
One interesting thing that we find here is a Carolina theater company.
They put on those sorts of plays and musicals.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot that they are exposing paintings, and I imagine this local painters.
Pretty much everything here is local. They even have these little free libraries where you can borrow a book or add a book and say hello to whatever his name is.
And one of the things that got my attention a lot was that this is the most famous hot dog in Wake Forest,
At least according to Shorty.
according to Short.
But I've actually heard really good things about Shorty's famous hot dogs. Literally been operating for over 100
And again,
years,
look
which
at
is
this.
just bonkers.
Huh.
And you get free parking if you're a hot dog lover. This is the Wake Forest Academy of Fine Arts. So if you're looking for, some sort of show to attend local, then, here's an entire list of upcoming events all throughout the end of the year. Okay, so behind me is my favorite coffee shop in the whole triangle, and especially in Wake Forest. That'd be Wake Forest Coffee Company. So they've got just really good coffee, really good prices. Every time I come in, it's great customer service. I say we go inside and actually grab ourselves a cup of coffee, because it's about 1:30 and I have not had my daily dose of energy. I desperately need it.
I was impressed by the amount of people that was inside. We had to make a line to get our coffee. Being a Tuesday, again, I know that I've been saying Tuesday a lot, but it amazes me.
2 o'clock on a Tuesday.
That is, yeah. So that was my first impression. So it's very popular, as Ben said. And my first sip of my coffee, man, I'm a coffee lover. This one is honey, lavender, almond.
There you go.
Yeah,
I got good old pumpkin spice.
but it's great. It has flavor.
And just check out the views. I love the outdoor seating. Just a really nice environment. Super peaceful and very busy out here in Wake Forest. All right, we are here at Heritage. Again, most popular, I would say, neighborhood throughout all of Wake Forest, and one of the most popular in the Triangle. And so, what you're seeing right now is a lot of new homes. So most of Heritage was built between early 2000s at the oldest, but they range all the way up to new builds, right? Built within the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, so based on what you're saying, I do like this strip that we're going through. I would say 2020 builds. I do like that it's 2-car garages. There's plenty of yard space. You got a front yard, backyard that I can see from the side. So, they look very good for like big families.
Yep.
2-3 kids.
And, why don't we talk about some of the prices?
So prices. So the average price in Heritage is currently $650 for single family homes. You can get townhomes on the 4s and 5s, but still we can see that $650 for a single family home.
And that's an average, right? So we just actually transitioned into what I would call, the older side of Heritage. Yep. So this is the OG, right? This is the homes that were built in the early 2000s. And as you can tell, they're still very, very beautiful. Check out this house right here on the corner. Super pretty. It's got the side load garage. Lots of mature trees in here. Very pretty, great curb appeal. And these homes you're able to find in the upper 4s, in the low to mid 500s. So if you don't need a brand new construction home, you can still have access to some really great real estate and you're about to see just how much access to shopping, dining, all new shopping developments, might I add. And we're really close to the Heritage Middle and High School, which are both highly rated schools as well.
For sure. Okay, so this would be the townhomes I mentioned earlier. And I mean, and they give you the feel of a small, tiny house. I mean, not like, oh, it's a building with a townhome all next to each other. You still have.
You notice they don't have shared walls except for in the very back of the house.
Small...
So it almost looks like these are individual cottage-style homes.
Exactly.
And they still, most of these still have two-car garages too.
You have that sense that you're in a house, single-family house.
Yep.
Still paying for that townhome.
And these are range floor plans too. So if you're, of retirement age, if you need single floor living at an affordable price, this is a really good part of Heritage. It's called Regency at Heritage, and you should definitely reach out if you want more information.
And one thing I would say about Heritage is that people do take pride in their home a lot, and we can tell by the way they're maintained, especially in this season that we are right now. We're seeing beautiful decorations that take time to make that house feel homey, especially having kids and they're getting ready for trick-or-treating and they want their kids to feel like, hey, we're right back on the season, summer is over, but we have so many things to look forward to. There's a community that tries to always be tight, right? Show that sense of we're here to stay for a while.
It's got that community vibe to it for sure. Absolutely. So I think Heritage has definitely blown up, faster than a lot of the neighborhoods in Wake Forest, as Wake Forest has started to really get a lot of attention.
So one of the main reasons that people like to live in Heritage or think about moving to Heritage is that Heritage holds one of the best and most popular golf courses in Raleigh, in Wake Forest. So that makes it very attractive. And we're pulling right to the golf course, and to the left we also have a swimming pool. So that's one of the attractions as well.
It was so beautiful here, we had to get out of the car and show you what the golf course looked like. And man, it's so pretty out here. I don't really golf. Ricardo's done some golfing. But
I do a little bit in my downtime.
Your downtime. Well, it's so gorgeous out here. It makes me want to learn how to golf.
And you know one great thing, Ben? Look at this side. So we can see those homes, how they overlook and have access to the golf course.
Man, imagine waking up, having your morning cup of coffee, and just, this is what you see.
And with the lake.
Well, I think it's clear to see why so many people are moving to Heritage and Wake Forest in general. It has some really amazing neighborhoods.
Definitely, Ben. And this has been very eye-opening.
Yep.
And it gives you the sense that community is all around, and that you don't have to be a big city to make big city feels within a small city.
And at the same time, I think Wake Forest is growing at such a pace that there will be a day where it's very competitive with, say, Cary, North Carolina, for example. It is definitely up and coming, and there's a reason that it is one of the most moved to parts of our region right now.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about moving to Wake Forest area, you want to learn more about the different neighborhoods, help find the right place for you and your family, then just make sure you call the number at the bottom of the screen, or just click that link in the description, set up a time to chat with our team. We look forward to meeting you. In the meantime, click this video if you want to see a full map tour of every part of the triangle so that you know exactly where you should move. We'll see you there.